been raining here the last couple of days and I am stuck in the studio, but that gives me a great opportunity to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that beginning photographers make and the easy way to fix each one of them. Now, I've made these mistakes, as have other photographers, so learn from us. So with that, let's just jump in and start talking about that first mistake that beginners make. Not planning your shoot correctly. This topic is so easy to overlook and can go so many different directions, but I'm going to focus on 2 things. First, make sure to time your shoot correctly. Remember, the best time for nature photography is usually at sunrise or sunset, so don't show up at noon and think you're going to get those types of images. Or if you're going to shoot a portrait on location, make sure that you pick a time of day where the sun won't be behind the model so that you're shooting into the sun. The second thing to remember when you're planning your shoot is to charge your batteries. Make sure you have your memory cards. Don't leave that tripod at home. Make sure you have all the things you need for your shoot. When I started shooting weddings, I solved this by creating a checklist. This was quick and easy and kept me organized to make sure that while I was planning for the shoot, I did not forget anything. Blurry images. I recently made this mistake, so it happened, but do your best to always be ready to shoot at all times and make sure your settings are ready to go, i.e. make sure that your shutter speed is fast enough for the environment that you're shooting in. See here, this elk just appeared and I was not ready. This animal was so beautiful, but I did not get off a crisp shot with my camera because my shutter speed was just too slow. The quick and easy way to fix this is to check your settings before you leave the house to go shoot. Be ready for the conditions that you expect to be in so that you don't have to adjust your settings as much once you're on location. Too fast with the shutter button. It is really easy to just start firing off images, especially with a digital camera or a cell phone. Those images don't cost you anything like they did when everyone was shooting film. But what you're not seeing is you're not thinking about composition or even the things that are going on around you. You're just spraying and praying and hoping that something looks good. Well, what you're really doing is just wearing out your shutter on your camera. You should go to these locations early and scout them out. Look for the places that you want to set up and shoot. Slow down and focus on your composition. This will drastically improve your images, whether it's scouting portrait locations for the perfect backdrop or finding that perfect spot at the beach with something interesting in the foreground for that sunset shot. Too many elements in your photographs. Less is more in most cases. Too many subjects in a photograph means there's no subject in the image. It's impossible for the person viewing the image to know what the subject is. For the landscape photographer, make sure the image you are taking has an interesting element in it, not just there is a large open mountain range in front of you or the sunset is pretty. My first photography professor nailed this topic. He told us to keep it simple. Just put something in the foreground of your image and shoot it. This was a great way to eliminate the too many elements in an image. And I've used this advice over the years and have created a lot of images in my portfolio because of it. Over editing your images. Everyone has fallen into this trap. Whether it's cranking up the saturation or moving that sharpening slider way too far on an image that was just a little too soft. None of this is really going to make that image better. Over editing your images is a sure way to tell people that you are new to photography. I know. This is where the creative process takes over, especially when you're behind the monitor and looking at your images. Experiment with editing, but remember that less is usually more, and an over-edited image is really easy to spot. Photography isn't just about the gear. It's easy to drool over all the latest shiny toys. Camera manufacturers have great marketers to make you want the latest camera, the latest lens, the latest accessory. They make you feel like you'll never take a good image without the latest, most expensive gear. Well, gear will only get you so far before you need to have photography skills. Skills takes practice. Use the gear you have and can afford. Squeeze every ounce of energy that you can out of this gear. Make it work for you. Learn every setting on the gear that you have and how you can use it to make better images. In the long run, this will make you a better photographer than if you just buy the latest gear and you really don't know how to use it. I've got many images in my portfolio that was shot on cheap or inexpensive gear, and some of those images are my best-selling fine art photography. Save yourself some money, learn photography instead of chasing the latest gear. Being new to photography can be overwhelming. Gear, accessories, how-to, all the things. Just don't let that get in the way of creating memories with your photographs, and just continue to improve and get better. Hopefully this helps you not make these mistakes. What mistakes have you made? Or what mistakes have you seen other people make? Share them here so we can all learn from it. And until next time, enjoy your photography journey. And don't forget to click on the link for my next video.